Guess who's back? Back again. I am back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Da-na-na-da-na-na-na-na. Happy Friday, everybody. Well, when you're listening to this, it is about 9:40. But in reality, it's actually 9:35 on March 25th, 2022. How's everybody doing? TGIF and happy weekend, everyone. Oh, I tell you what, this week has been a crazy one. To be honest with you, it's like just a lot of stuff going on, and before I go any further, please keep my mom in your prayers. She's got some more tests done. She's got her CAT scan done, and we're talking to more doctors for second opinions or whatever. So if you could just keep praying, saying positive vibes, that'd be great. I tell you what, though, Thursday was actually a really good day of the week for me because there were two great things that happened. The first one is that some of my viewers or my friends on Facebook already know this, but those who don't, I became a new member of Orange Theory Fitness. But I don't know, scary stuff. And the reason why I say that is because apparently I walked into Orange Theory Fitness on Endurance Week. Gosh, that's the minute I walked in. Oh, hi, Caitlin. How are you doing? I'm good. How are you? Oh, we're great. Guess what day is today? What? Endurance. Oh gosh, just shoot me now. But I did it. Oh my gosh, I went straight on to the elliptical and yeah, all the highs and lows of endurance on it for 30 minutes, and the rest were additional 30 minutes on the floor and on the rowers. But luckily for me, everything was modified. But by the time I got off that elliptical, my legs were cardboard. At least it felt like it, And so they're like, "Okay, it's time to squat." And I'm like, "Boy, oh my goodness!" But I did it. But I'm proud of myself for sticking with it. I think that's probably the hardest workout I actually have done since getting my knees replaced, without a doubt. So, you know, kudos to those people at Orthopedic Spine Center of the Rockies in Fort Collins. They've been awesome. I'm not done with them yet either. I'll see them in 2 months for different joint issues. Now, the second thing that happened, well, as you know, I mentioned this before. I graduated from a community college, Ames Community College here in Greeley. I don't live too far from the Greeley campus, and yes, I graduated there in 2017, and it's been a while. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it has. And they actually opened up their new welcome center. They have a new auditorium, which, by the way, is beautiful. It makes me wonder if they're gonna put the music recitals in there, because I would like to think more family and friends in the community will be able to see how talented the music students are. I mean, seriously, I'm not kidding. Like the Ames Community College student recitals, I mean, they're just awesome. Very talented, gifted men and women, and instructors are awesome too. And they're very knowledgeable what they do. And what I like about the instructors over there in the music department too is that they're very passionate about the music. There's a whole bunch of music lovers. I loved it over there. But anyway, yeah, I think it'd be cool if they could move the music recitals into the auditorium, so more family, friends, even the community could see the recitals. So we'll see. But anyway, the reason I was back on my home turf was because they just opened the new auditorium, and they had their first show, a real event, big time event and the headliner was comedian Josh Blue, who placed third on America's Got Talent. He had me in stitches, people. Oh my gosh. He was fun. Well, I didn't realize this. I'm glad I went along because I'll say this, because I have some friends who are not like huge on censored shows. So I'm glad they didn't decide to join. But This one was censored, was like uncensored. See, this was uncensored, but man, it had me in stitches. Josh Blue, he has cerebral palsy, and God bless his heart, and he's just so good at what he does. It cracks me up. You just look on YouTube, Josh Blue, he cracks me up. I've had a good laugh for a while now, so that was nice. To be able to release all that stress I have inside me and all that. And my favorite performance from the whole show, from Josh Blue's show, was where he was describing that he's in quarantine, and as you know, I'm an animal lover, so he puts the animals into us. It cracked me up so hard. And so it's like he got these dogs during quarantine. He got these dogs. He still has them. He has his dogs, and so he was just describing the struggles of being a dog owner, which I can relate, and some of you could too. And so he talks about walking in his house eating food, and the dogs are following him. This is the best part, I swear. I mean, this had me stitches because I can relate to him. And I love how he describes it. He turns around, looks down as if he's looking at a dog, and he looks at him and goes, "What the do you want?" It has me in stitches because he pretty much spoke my mind. Because every time I'm walking in the house, the dogs are following me. Ooh, Kate has food. Ooh, I too love food. You had dinner 10 minutes ago. Don't you love me? Yes, I love you, but no, this is mine. Back off. But yeah, I just love what Josh Blue just went, "What the do you want?" Now, honestly, I don't say it that way, but he actually spoke my mind on a couple occasions. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, made stitches. Then the opening act, for the life of me, I can't remember his name, but he was funny as well. He was rocking some jokes, and yeah. So I feel bad for anybody who heard me chuckle because I'm in stitches over here. I mean, I'm just laughing and laughing. Just it was a great time. It's also great to see my people I normally talk to when I was over at Ames. A lot of staff I know, a couple of other people. So it was great to see them and talk to them, and yeah. So it was good. It was well done. Ames Community College did a wonderful job, and I almost certainly will be going back to more shows, as far as I'm concerned. All right, but yeah, that's what my Thursday was like, and today was just recovering from Orange Theory. Oh, and speaking of working out, if anybody was in that, and I told a lot of my peeps about at Ames about this show, about this podcast, that if by any reason before the show, if you see me sleeping in my chair, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just I got my rear end handed to me at Orange Theory. Believe me, it was the Orange Theory, not you guys. But I promise you, I'll be more perky whenever the next show is. I promise. But yeah, it's like there's the husband and wife sitting next to me, and there's a seat between us. So they have their space, I had mine, and the wife looks at me, kind of wondering what's going on with me, and I realized she was looking at me. I kind of looked at her, and I kind of explained to her that I had a tough workout, and I apologize if I'm sleeping. It's just I worked out pretty hard earlier today. Oh, and she totally understood. So somebody was concerned. I'm like, oh, there's no reason to be concerned. I'm fine. I just feel like I just got out of a boxing match with Rocky or whatever, but it's all good. So I'm going to switch over to news now. We're going to switch over to news. So Joan Jett actually just dropped, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts just dropped a new record called Change Up. And a lot of songs are acoustic. And so far, from what I'm seeing statistics wise, 9% like the album. And it's Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Okay, it's gonna be good. I mean, we talked about Joan Jett last week. It's gonna be good. So I'm gonna listen to that this weekend while working on spreadsheets, and I'll get back to you guys on it. And then also some new music news. Aerosmith's drummer Joey Kramer has taken temporary leave from the band. And some of you haven't noticed, Aerosmith is gearing up for their Las Vegas residency, and Joey Kramer had to temporarily actually say today that he's temporarily leaving the band to focus on his family. And I'm for that. Family's important. Absolutely. There's something going on with your family. You know what? Focus on it. Take care of it. So I have a lot of respect for Joey, and yeah, so totally understand. So now, speaking of more music, Mickey Dolenz. I tell you what, his name keeps popping up. I love it. Meet the wings. Okay. Well, Daydream Believer's playing my mind. For what reason? I don't know. It just is. But anyway, last week Mickey Dolenz dropped his new EP. Dolenz Sings Nesmith, the EP last week, and just been great reviews from it. People love it. Even Taylor Swift loved it. Yeah, so he's doing a great job. And actually, it was earlier this week. I was working on spreadsheets, and I was listening to Monkey's radio. Believe it or not, Monkey's music has been really keeping the blues away. So trust me on that one. And so while I'm listening to the radio, the original version of Crippled Lion, sung by Nesmith, started to play. Oh, that is such a beautiful song. If you go on Spotify, look at Dolenz Sings Nesmith, the EP. Just go down to Crippled Lion and play it. I tell you what, the lyrics in that song is so rich. Ooh, it hits me. It hits my feelers. It hits my feelings pretty good. Just so good. Dolenz just knocked out of the park. And of course, the original sung by Nesmith is just gorgeous, people. He was a genius musician and songwriter. Gorgeous. And also, speaking of Dolenz, he is, as of tomorrow, I believe, will be on the Beach Boys cruise. Yeah, believe it or not, the Beach Boys have their cruise. It's called the Beach Boys Good Vibrations Cruise, March 25th through the 28th, Miami to Nassau, Bahamas. I want to go to the Bahamas, man. Kidding me? But anyway, some beach, da 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 da, somewhere. But anyway, so Dolenz will be actually bringing the Monkeys tour. The Mickey Dolenz celebrates the Monkeys. That tour on the Beach Boys Good Vibrations cruise. So people are in for a treat. I am here in I don't know, Crocodile Rock, just like, man, I would love to. And you know what? And the fact too would be that I'll be singing my little heart out. Guarantee it. So this is what the schedule is for Mickey on the Beach Boys Good Vibration Cruise. So tomorrow, on the 26th, there will be a Q&A with Mickey from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the pool deck. Then later on that day, the show, Mickey Dolenz Celebrates the Monkeys, 8:30 p.m. through 9:45 p.m. pool deck. And then Sunday, March 27th, Mickey Dolenz Backyard Barbecue and Club Kokomo Sampling, 3:30 p.m. through 4:30 p.m. pool deck. Whew. Now, judging by like the backyard barbecue and the Club Kokomo, Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh. Okay, anyway, the sampling, man, that sounds good. That sounds really good because I know Grilly doesn't have that. No. Dang. Seriously, hope the food's good there. Seriously, sounds delightful. But anyway, yeah, so Mickey's out there, sharing sharing the memories, the spreading joy about his fellow late brothers / bandmates, Mike Nesmith, Peter Tork, and Davy Jones. And all three are deeply missed. I mean, I miss them too. I mean, I never got to see like Mike Nesmith live with the band, but I got to experience Mickey, Davy, and Peter at our Stampede in 2001, and that, my friends, was good enough. But there's always a part of me that still kicks myself for not seeing David Jones as a solo artist. I mean, I see all the videos on YouTube, and he just crushes it. I'm like, wait, but that's okay. I'm kind of hoping Mickey will bring the tour either to northern Colorado or to Denver. Now, I'm not a huge fan of going to concerts down in Denver, but within reasons. If this tour was in Denver, I can make an exception. There are only two bands that I'll actually go to Denver for. It's Kiss and Bon Jovi. Now, if this Monkees tour, Mickey Dolenz celebrates the Monkees, and he brings it to Denver, I can make an exception. And I'll be going. Oh man. But I have a feeling, people will be in for a great treat and just great remembrance. From my knowledge too, Mickey went through a lot of archives. There's a official YouTube and Facebook page called Monkees Archives, and the person who runs the Facebook YouTube page is actually, I think he also runs a Facebook page. He's actually very nice. I've talked to him before, and he's a very nice person. So, but he likes to share the memories of the Monkees, and a lot of people respond to it. I'm also in a couple of other Monkees music groups, and it's cool, talking to other fans about it. And so it's just really interesting. I am dying to read the reviews of this tour because I know without a shadow of a doubt, Mickey Dolenz Celebrates the Monkees will have great reviews. Ew, I can't wait. I don't know, maybe, I don't know, it's like I do work for a media company, and technically speaking, I am a real journalist. So, if you did bring the Monkees tour down to Denver, I could probably see if I could get the media company to allow me to review the tour and write a review. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. We shall see, people. That'd be awesome. So before we go any further, and before I do the shouts, of course, sports news, Rise. I think there are actually three things that happened that grabbed my attention in the sports world. One is shout out to my friend Linda Foster and her team, the Colts. The quarterback, the National Football League, NFL's quarterback free agency is drying up, and Linda Foster's Colts picked up Matt Ryan from the Falcons. Huge. That's actually a bonus. I have Russell Wilson. She has Matt Ryan. I think they'll do just fine. I think Matt Ryan will be a really good leader on that team compared to Wentz, personally. Second was the Mile High Stadium catching fire. Oh, I don't know what sparked it. According to some reports, it came from a suite or something. But yeah, the Broncos stadium down Denver caught on fire. I mean, there's a lot of damage. A lot of seats got damaged. So, and the funniest thing I saw was there was a meme on Facebook with Pete Carroll, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, and the meme said that he was responsible for setting the Mile High Stadium on fire because Russell Wilson left the team. I'm like, well, somebody had too much time on their hands, but that's pretty funny. And if that were to be true, which I know it isn't, but if it were, I don't blame them. I mean, let Russell Wilson go to to the Broncos. Yeah. And then of course, in Seahawks news, I guess I'll add this one in. The top receivers, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, might be leaving the team. And this comes after Aaron Rodgers. No, this comes after Russell Wilson leaving Seahawks to my team, the Broncos. So be interesting. But boy, Green Bay Packers are looking at DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So, ooh, fantasy value, people. Fantasy value, football fantasy value. Ooh, I don't know. I'm starting to think that this NFL free agency has really impacted fantasy value on many players. It should be interesting to see where everything's stacked up in June, July when the mock drafts open up. And then finally, shout out to my former classmate Stuart. He's a Dolphins fan. The Miami Dolphins received Tyreek Hill from the Kansas City Chiefs. Boom. That's just a boom. And of course, for me, I'm applauding the Dolphins. As a Broncos fan, I'm like, yeah, woo, yeah. So thank you, Miami. Thank you. Take him. You can have him. While you're at, take Travis Kelce with you. But it's fine. I know, but I'm pretty sure Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle's fantasy football stats will be skyrocketing. We shall see, but yeah, Miami is a huge favor. So did KC. Now it's our time to shine. It's time for Broncos to shine. We are dangerous. All right, so now we'll go to shout outs. The first shout out goes to my friend Royce Eddings from the YouTube show Royce in the House. He'll be going live 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 7:30 our my time, 8:30 Central Time, 9:30. Yeah, that's right. 9:30 Eastern Time. It's math. Come on. Most of you should know by now. I suck at math. And so he's doing such a great job. Lou Mars was great. Scott Harris was great from last week. And he's got to have another guest on. I'm not saying who. You guys will just have to tune in and find out. I'll be in the chat, hanging out, and will I be show up by camera? I don't know. But Royce has been leaving the StreamYard link, in the chat for anybody who wants to pop on. But seriously, I don't know. Oh, speaking of Royce. Hey, Royce. So, check this out. So, while I was at the auditorium, like I just mentioned, on Thursday night, I'm sitting there waiting for the show. 2 Alice Cooper songs were playing. 2 of them. It was No more Mr. Nice Guy. He's sick. See. And then you got Under My Wheel. The telephone is ringing. I mean, you should see me in my seat in the auditorium. I mean, I'm just literally just bobbing my head to the music. And shout out to the AIM staff for putting Alice Cooper on. Yeah, y'all know how to rock. You guys never fail me. But anyway, yeah, that's enough talking out from me, Royce. But anyway, you're doing a great job on the show. I'm proud of you. Keep plugging away. You're doing great. And next shout out goes to my friend Dan Mchugh. He does Just the Facts. He's actually filming with some cool stuff. He's starting to work with like the 3D and 360 stuff, cameras, and then top of that, he's got a what do you call those, like a laugh box or something. But I don't know. But he was filming with them on the Pink Sock podcast. It was a stitch. Hearing him talk like Alvin the Chipmunk was hilarious. He had me stitches. But anyway, check out his videos. He has great videos, and there's great videos of tribute bands to Metallica, AC/DC, and AC/DC, I believe. Both, which by the way, Metallica one was Righteous Band. Righteous. So yeah, check them out. Just the Facts on YouTube. Check them out. And my sister-in-law Stefani has a shop called Book and Lily Boutique. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she created rings that symbolizes the firefighters and police officers. So check those out. And she's also getting those Easter stuff up. So check them out. You never know. So again, it's on Facebook and TikTok, Luca and Lily Boutique. And then my friend Mac Jameson, he's been quiet, but he's so rowdy. So check out his stories on WordPress at thedwarventeller.wordpress.com. Such a great friend, very talented writer. So yeah, check it out. That's what it's about. All right. Well, enough of the shout outs. I thought, for tonight's show, I thought about kind of maybe lecturing. I don't know why. It's just, I'm thinking about rock and roll. There's like so many influences in rock and roll, influencers. I'm like, I don't know where to begin because, the whole rock and roll genre is just ridiculously good, in my opinion. So I'm going back way, way back. We're going old school. When I mean old school, I mean, we're going back, I don't know, to like the 50s. And, this band, the singer was actually called the father of rock and roll. So think about the father of rock and roll in the 50s. Any idea who it is? Well, I'll tell you what. The person in the band I'm talking about is actually Bill Haley and the Comets. I think, and what I liked about Bill Haley and the Comets is that they really like revolutionized rock and roll in their own way. I'm like, it wasn't like Oh boy, how do I put it? I don't know. Rice, help. If you know anything on the subject, put it in the comment section, will you? Because I'm losing my my cheese over here. But I'm thinking, they put like, um, they with their Bill Haley comments, they actually put a lot of different genres into rock and roll, and I believed that they put like country and western with mixed with like rhythm and blues, and when all those genres, collided, that was rock and roll. And honestly enough, I know a lot about 50s rock and roll, partially because of my parents. And of course, Bill Haley and Comets are famously known for the song Rock Around the Clock Tonight. Well, dun 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 dun, the shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. See you later, alligator. That's a good one, too. But I think, they did such a good job revolutionizing that rock, their version of rock, and I think they kind of really, I mean, of course, the Beatles, the Monkees, obviously, or Elvis Presley, sure, yeah, but I really think Bill Haley and the Comets were really the big hit early pioneers for this, big hit makers, early pioneers for this. According to the website that from my face, yeah, let's see. So it's that what I like about is that, they garnered top 20 singles in the United States alone. Haley's appeal was universal. He amassed legions of fans and sold millions of records in markets around the world. And I was, and looking at this website too, what really caught my attention was like his history. One of the Haley's first musical performances took place in 1938 when he played a Bethel Junior Baseball Team event at just 13 years old, and he spent most of his teen years playing guitar and yodeling in various bands. In 1945, at the age of 20, he joined his first professional band, Downhomers. With music in his blood, Haley also served as a disc jockey, where his ability to play records from seemingly desperate genres will influence the musical stylings of his own band, Bill Haley and the Four Aces of Western Swing. The group changed their name to Bill Haley and the Salmon in 1950 and signed with Holiday Records a year later, releasing a number of singles that further showcased Haley's country, swing, and rhythm and blues influences, including Rocket 88. This is actually interesting. And then now here comes the switch. In 1952, the band became Bill Haley and his Comets, and signed with Essex Records, which released Haley's first top 20 hit, Crazy Man Crazy, along with Rock the Joint. In 1954, Haley and the group left Essex and signed with Decca Records, and with the success of each new release, and far in advance of future commentaries, the band was unknowingly pioneering a new genre of popular music that many years later would finally be given a name, rock and roll. And so it's really interesting because, while looking through all of this, kind of just, I don't know, it's like I knew who Bill Haley was. I knew who the Comets were. I didn't know like the Comets had a name before that, Bill Haley and the Four Aces of Western Swing. And then they changed their name again to Bill Haley and Salmon before finalizing the name Bill Haley and his Comets. And what I didn't know is that the musical background by Bill Haley is just remarkable. I mean, such a talented man. So, but check this out. I didn't realize how much of an impact, their music had worldwide. So, according to the website, with sales of more than 25 million copies worldwide, We're Going to Rock Around the Clock is one of the best-selling records in history. And Rolling Stone has named the track number 159 on their list of 500 greatest songs of all time. But Haley would prove to be more than just a one-hit wonder, releasing a number of commercially successful follow-up hits, including See You Later, Alligator, Rock, R-O-C-K, The Saints, Rock and Roll, Rip It, Rudy's Rock, and Skinny Minnie. Bill Haley and his Comets made 4 appearances on American Bandstand, and they toured extensively across Europe, Australia, Latin America, and more. Then kind of continues a little bit on to like Haley continued to make appearances perform throughout the 1960s and 70s, including a Royal Command performance in the presence of Queen Elizabeth II of England, a country where he continues to enjoy a particularly concentrated celebrity status and endures as rock and roll royalty. With the full value of his contributions to popular music may be somewhat underappreciated, Haley's legacy is indisputable. Dubbed the father of rock and roll, Haley maintains devoted fans around the globe who celebrate his career and music catalog. So, it's funny because, again, it goes back to like to the Western side. Do you guys, when you listen to certain songs by Bill Haley, like especially from the comments, do you hear that Western vibe? Do you hear like the mix of that, like the fusion of it, like the mix of Western jazz and blues? And in my opinion, yeah, I do. I mean, if you could actually just, I don't know how to put it. This is hard, but rock around the clock tonight. You could feel like the blues and all that, but there's like I think there's like a little twang to it. I would think, but I don't know. But I really do like. I don't know. What do y'all think? You can feel the Western vibe in Rock Around the Clock or the other songs that I've mentioned? Let me know in the comments. But his background is just ridiculously good and just powerful. And it says towards the end on his website, with his unmistakable vocal style and kiss curl hairstyle, Bill Haley has paved the way for generations of stars across genres. Formal recognition of his impact on music history arrived in 1987 when he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and again in 2018 when We're Gonna Rock Around the Clock was inducted into the National Recording Registry, an achievement maintained by the Library of Congress to preserve culturally significant recordings. So that's cool. There isn't a doubt that he was influential, but I think it's kind of cool that We're Gonna Rock Around the Clock was inducted into the National Recording Registry, an archive maintained by the Library of Congress. So I think that's huge. That makes me wonder how many other artists have gone into the Library of Congress. I don't know, but I really like the impact they made. Bill Haley in the comments made. I think they wanted to change. It's like rock and roll. I guess maybe the 1950s, but rock and roll was in the 1950s. Different type of music was out there. Respectfully, there were some really good non-rock and roll artists back during those times. But when Bill Haley and the comments decided to show up and create their own havoc, I'll call it havoc because that's what it is. Kind of, they introduced listeners to a new side of rock and roll, a side that they never even heard of before. It's just one of those things. It's like, hello, we're Bill Haley in comments. And if you have heard of our musical style, check this out. Excuse me. And in some ways, it's like Back to the Future. Where what was it? Marty McFly plays Sean B. Good, and the crowd looks at him like, "What the heck is this?" That's why I had a feeling about maybe like the first reactions to Bill Haley in the comments were, like, what in the world is this guy? But I like his music. It's catchy. It's like strikes four. Dun, dun, dun. Bum, 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 bum. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. But I have great appreciation, especially for music like this. But it makes me think. It's like I wonder. Obviously, people appreciated his Bill Haley's music, but it makes me wonder how long it took to people to really grasp on how serious Bill Haley was as an artist. Again, back in the 50s, it was like rock and roll was just, wasn't even existing until boom, boom, into, Bill Haley in the comments. But I don't know. Honestly, it would be pretty cool to be around that time just to see everybody's reaction to Bill Haley in the comments. I thought it'd be kind of cool just to watch the reaction, but what I didn't realize, with this further research was just, the music background. Bay Haley is just incredible. It's like he wanted to do something. It's like almost like he wanted to make a change, but he didn't know how, so he formed a group. And when the group started to play music together, things just became phenomenal. And behold, people start hearing the new music. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. But anyway, I'm going to share with you guys some facts about Bill Haley in the comments. These are pretty cool facts, I might add. I was actually looking at these earlier, and I thought it was cool. So here we go. So here's a couple of facts. Yeah, they're not numbered, but these are a couple of facts. So here we go. Most people didn't know what rock and roll was when it was released. So the record company had a hard time describing the song. The label on the single called it a novelty foxtrot. And and just think of it, it does have a foxtrot. Rock and roll was released. Of course, I can understand that they had like trouble describing the song, and in most cases, yeah, there's like foxtrot. Just think about it, rock around the clock tonight. Just think about it. Seriously, I'm just thinking about it. I mean, I know what foxtrot is. History of jazz. But what I'm saying is true. It's in history of jazz. Just look it up. But it's like, yeah, I can hear the foxtrot in that, so that's kind of cool. The next fact is that that the song "Rock Around the Clock" was the original opening theme song for the TV show Happy Days. The song was re-released in 1974 to capitalize on its new popularity. It charted at number 39 in the US. In 1976, the theme was changed to Happy Days. The term rock and roll was a relatively new way to describe music when this came out. A lot of early rock was based on the blues and was far too different for some listeners. This was tamed by blues standards, but still caused a stir. It took Elvis to really shake things up. Yeah, okay, I'll get back to you guys on that one. I have something to say about that. This was one of the first hits of the rock era. Billboard had been keeping a top 4 chart for only a few months when this came out. It stayed number 1 for 8 weeks. The group released this in 1954 as the B-side of a novelty song called 13 Women, which was about an atomic blast that leaves only one man and 13 women alive. It wasn't until a year later that it was re-released and became a hit. I didn't even know that. This was used in the 1955 movie Blackboard Jungle, which gave a great deal of exposure and helped send it up the charts. And then in the UK, this was the biggest selling single of the 50s. And again, I'm talking about Rock Around the Clock, people. So it's pretty interesting. Oh, check this out. I like this fact. I didn't know this. If you do, mention it in the YouTube comment section, please. Elton John took a swipe at this in his song Crocodile Rock. Elton thought this was kind of overrated, so he put a line in about how they were doing the Crocodile Rock while the other kids were rocking around the clock. Haley had several hits before recording this song, including Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and Mambo Rock. I don't recall hearing all of them. He was never able to duplicate the massive success of Rock Around the Clock, but he did have a few more hits in the 50s, including See You Later, Alligator, and The Saints' Rock and Roll. Haley is a key figure in the evolution of rock music, helping transform the sound of country music. Yeah, I suppose so, in some ways. Bill Haley and his comments were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, according to Rolling Stone. In their 100 Greatest Guitar Songs issue, Comets guitarist Danny Cedron was paid $21 for his work on this track, which became a classic rock solo. Unfortunately, he died in the fall, just months after he recorded it. There is a different snare drum pattern. Yeah, this is kind of cool. I didn't know this. I don't know. I might have to re-listen to the song myself. There is a different snare drum pattern on each verse. But anyway, yeah, I can understand how like the elements of blues, you know, started rock and roll, but um of course, within blues there was a lot of issues like racism. So I think, a lot of people were, kind of just like, what is that? And also I know to the fact that a lot of people were fond of rock and roll like in the 50s. It's like the devil's music. I'm like, oh come on, it's harmless music. Give me a break. And of course, yes, it did take Elvis Presley to shake things up. So you would think that, if people were appalled by Bill Haley's music, but I would pay to see the reaction to Elvis's music. Oh my goodness. But yeah, definitely started raising some eyebrows. I'm absolutely, musicians, especially Bill Haley, he's raised some eyebrows with his music. But then again, so did Marty McFly, Back to the Future, and yet people loved it. Yeah, but I think it's kind of cool, to be honest. I like looking up this stuff because, it just makes me think, and I think it's great. And Bill Haley in the comments, really, I wouldn't say, they're most definitely the early pioneers of the whole shebang of rock and roll, the genre of rock and roll. But I also think that, they started the fire, and then Elvis showed up, and he just add more fuel. And that is entirely a different show to talk about. But Bill Haley in comments, I grew up listening partially because of my parents, and there's a lot of 50s rock and roll artists that I really enjoy, and some of them, are just we're so talented, so good at what they did, like look at Buddy Holly. Yeah, it was absolutely a shame how he died, and the day the music died. I actually agree. I concur in that. I agree. Then you got the Everly Brothers, the Diamonds, Crickets, Ray Charles. Of course, Elvis Presley's in the mix. We'll talk about that someday. The Platters, Brenda Lee. Oh, I love Brenda Lee. Oh my goodness. She is a hoot to listen to. I love her. Oh man. There's so many great Brenda Lee songs, I tell you that. Then you have the Drifters, Danny and the Juniors, the Cadillacs. I like the Cadillacs. Chuck Berry. Can't go wrong with Chuck Berry. With Jerry Lee Lewis, Little Richard, which I'm not going to sing it because I know I'm not going to sing that catchphrase because I know I'll make people deaf. And then, you got the Shirleys, the Bobettes, the Fireballs that were good, the Rock and Roll Trio. I like them. Patsy Cline was up there. James Brown. Fat Domino. I liked him. Fat Domino was good. So there's just a lot of talented bands and artists back in the 50s that also contributed to the rock and roll style. And yeah, man, John Lee Hooker. Oh my goodness. Billy Fury. So good. And according to Google, among the most important bands that sold in the 1950s rock and roll were Willie Mae Thornton, Big Joe Turner, Bill Haley in the comments, Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Buddy Holly, and the Crickets, Fat Domino, Bo Diddley, Gene Vincent, the Everly Brothers, and Carl Perkins, which we all know who he is too. But yeah, and then, it's really amazing because I don't think, I don't know, how do I word this? I don't think today's generation, because a lot of people are listening to way different kind of music, far beyond that I can comprehend. For Pete's sake, country music really isn't country music today. Keep out that. I'll leave it there. But I really wish today's generation can actually listen to these bands or artists from the 50s, because I really think they can learn a lot to how good music sounded back in those days. I mean, just rich music. It's just so many talented artists and bands. And I could go on forever. I mean, then you got Motown and that alone. Oh my goodness. I love Motown. Love, love, love. That's another show episode, people. Hang in there. Soul music, yeah. I'm a blues fan, I'm a jazz fan, but yeah, I don't think a lot of people really appreciate the 50s bands and artists because they were really, the pioneers of the rock and roll genre. I mean, sure, yes, there are Elvis fans, there are Bill Haley and Thomas fans. Sure, I'm not saying that, but people who know them, but the people who know these bands and artists, but never really gave the time to listen to the music, I don't think you really fully appreciate what these bands and artists do. So I just, I would like to see the younger generation really appreciate these bands and artists because, especially in the 50s, because I tell you what, I mean, that was just the starting point. When Bill Haley showed up, did Rock Around the Clock, man, that must have been one hell of a, pardon my French, but one hell of a reaction. I'm pretty sure, and of course, kids back then, like teenagers and all that, like, oh, I like this. And parents are like, okay, well, we'll keep an eye on it. Then Elvis comes on, and, the parents are like, oh my gosh, turn that off. Because I don't think, parents were even ready for that kind of music. But honestly, I think 50 music was probably one of the best music periods, one of the best in my book, because it just really showed, like, the early pioneers of rock. And I think it's just great. All right, that's your lesson for today, people. But anyway, before I sign off, just remember, I guess I'll share this with you guys. I want you to remember this. Through the stresses I've been going through with my family, there's something that constantly plays in my mind, and I'm going to share this with y'all. And I just want you to think about, no matter how stressed you are, or angry you are, um, whatever it is, whatever pain you're in, if you still wake up in the morning and you're breathing, you're alive, you're walking around, that means you still have a purpose in this world. And do not take that for granted, people. I'm blessed to still be here. I'm still blessed to be able, sitting here right now talking to you guys. So seriously, never take life for granted and start loving people. I'm serious. Life's short, and also along the way, of course, taking care of those who matter to you. But at the same time, take care of yourself. What I've been learning recently is that I've got to take care of myself in order to help other people. So you matter. Take care of yourself. Try to love people. I know it's hard. Trust me, I know this, but you know what? This world we live in needs a lot of love and positivity and kindness. So definitely give it to them when needed. And of course, and always follow your hearts, and yeah, create your own story. It doesn't matter what other people think. Create your own story. You're not in charge of other people's actions or feelings. The only thing you're responsible for is yourself and how you react to things. So go create your story. If you want to sing, sing. You want to dance, dance. If you want to be a dork like me and bob head to Alice Cooper music, yeah, so be it. All right. So anyway, I love you guys. I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.